Picture this. It's 6 in the morning in a quiet Tokyo park. A 92-year-old woman bends forward, touches her toes. No groaning, no wobbling, just grace and strength. Meanwhile, many of us over 60 struggle to put on socks without sitting down. So, what's the difference? Is it diet, genetics, some secret supplement? Surprisingly, it's none of those. Japanese elders have a nightly ritual, just 5 gentle bedtime movements, that keep their joints young, flexible, and pain-free. No gym, no equipment, just 12 minutes before bed that could change how your body feels in the morning. Let's explore what makes these movements so effective and how you can start tonight. You know, when scientists first studied these Japanese elders, they expected to find something exotic, rare herbs, intense training regimens, maybe even genetic advantages. But what they discovered was much simpler and honestly, more powerful. The secret was in something called nocturnal synovial regeneration. Now, I know that sounds technical, but stay with me because this is where it gets fascinating. Basically, your joints contain a special fluid, think of it like oil in a car engine, that keeps everything moving smoothly. As we age, we produce less of this fluid, which is why mornings feel stiff and painful. But here's what the researchers found. When Japanese elders performed these specific movements right before sleep, their bodies ramped up production of this joint fluid overnight. Their joints were literally rebuilding themselves while they slept. The numbers told an incredible story. Studies found that somewhere between 75 and 80% of Japanese people over 80 can still sit on the floor and stand up without using their hands. Compare that to less than 10% of Americans the same age. The difference isn't in their genes or their diet alone. It's in these 5 simple movements they do every single night. And what moved me most about this research was what it revealed about inflammation. When scientists measured inflammatory markers in these elders' blood, they found levels comparable to people in their 40s, not their 60s, their 40s, all from movements that take just 12 minutes before bed. No equipment, no gym membership, no complicated routines, just you, your bedroom floor, and a commitment to your own well-being. So, what are these simple movements that make such a difference? Let's start from the foundation. The first one Japanese elders call their nightly reset. Imagine sitting on your bedroom floor, legs stretched out in front of you. That alone, just sitting with legs extended, is already more than most of us do in a typical day. Your spine is tall, as if someone's gently pulling a string from the top of your head. You take a deep breath, and then slowly, without forcing anything, you begin to walk your hands forward along your legs, not bouncing, not straining, just breathing and letting gravity do the work. This is the seated forward fold, and Japanese elders call it their Zen stretch for good reason. When you hold this position for 2 to 3 minutes, something remarkable happens deep in your hamstrings and lower back. Researchers have found that it triggers what they call a myofascial release response. Think of it this way. Over the years, the connective tissue around your muscles gets tight, like a shirt that's been wadded up in a drawer too long. This stretch gently smooths it out, reorganizing those fibers so your body can move freely again. A study followed over 300 people over 65 for 6 months. Those who did just this single stretch every night before bed increased their forward reach by about 4 inches. But here's what really matters. Their lower back pain dropped by roughly 50%. Think about that. Half their back pain gone from one simple stretch. The key is doing it right before sleep. Your body temperature naturally drops at bedtime, which makes your muscles more pliable. It's like the difference between stretching warm taffy versus cold taffy. You want to hold this position while taking deep belly breaths. Each exhale lets you sink a tiny bit deeper, not forcing, just allowing. Count to about 100 breaths. That's roughly 3 minutes. If you can only reach your knees at first, that's perfectly fine. Reach your knees. After 2 weeks, you'll notice you're reaching your shins. After a month, maybe your ankles. The progression happens naturally when you do it every single night. Your nervous system starts to recognize this position as safe, and it stops fighting against the stretch. This is why forcing it never works. Your body has to trust the movement first. Many Japanese elders place a folded blanket under their sitting bones if the floor feels too hard. They've learned through generations that comfort matters more than looking perfect. And you know what? That wisdom applies to everything we're going to explore today. This isn't about performance, it's about taking care of the one body you have. Now that your body's starting to loosen up, let's move into something that feels more like rest than exercise, yet works wonders for your spine. You're lying on your back now, both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. You let both knees fall gently to one side while keeping your shoulders pressed to the ground, your arms spread out like the letter T. That's it. That's the movement. You're lying there, breathing, and you might be thinking, how could this possibly help? But inside your body, something profound is happening. This is the lying spinal twist, sometimes called the ninja pose, and it creates something called intervertebral decompression. Your spine has about 24 discs between the bones. During the day, gravity compresses these discs. By bedtime, you're actually about half an inch shorter than when you woke up. This twisting movement creates space between each vertebra. It's like pulling apart two suction cups that have been stuck together all day. The fluid that cushions your spine gets a chance to redistribute and rehydrate. Researchers placed sensors on people's spines while they did this movement and discovered it was like giving the spine a drink of water after a long, dry day. A study included around 450 participants over 60 who had chronic back stiffness. After doing this twist every night for 3 months, roughly 70% reported feeling taller in the morning, but the real magic was in how they moved through their day. They could turn their heads to check blind spots while driving about a third more easily. They could reach into the back seat of their car without pain. These real-world improvements matter far more than any flexibility measurement. The secret is in the breathing pattern. As you lie twisted to one side, breathe into the stretched side of your ribcage. You'll feel it expand like a balloon. This creates even more space between your ribs and helps release those tiny muscles between them that most people never stretch. These intercostal muscles get frozen from years of shallow breathing and poor posture. When they loosen up, your whole torso moves better. Japanese elders often place a small pillow between their knees when doing this twist. It keeps the pelvis aligned and prevents any strain on the lower back. They've learned through generations of practice that small modifications make big differences. Hold each side for 90 seconds minimum. Set a timer if you need to. Your mind will tell you to switch sides after 30 seconds. Don't listen. The real benefits start after the 1-minute mark when your nervous system finally believes you're safe in this position. Once your spine feels free and fluid, we'll awaken its natural rhythm, a movement that Japanese doctors say keeps your brain young too. Get on your hands and knees like you're about to crawl. This position alone is therapeutic. Most of us haven't been on all fours since we were babies, but this quadruped position is how your spine learns to move in segments rather than as one stiff unit. Japanese elders do this movement with a rhythm that matches their breathing. As you inhale, let your belly drop toward the floor and lift your chest and tailbone toward the ceiling. This is the cow position. As you exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling like an angry cat. Pull your belly button toward your spine. The movement flows back and forth like ocean waves. No stopping, no holding, just continuous movement for 2 full minutes. This is the cat-cow undulation, or the Nekoi flow, and scientists studied this movement using advanced imaging technology. They found it increases cerebrospinal fluid circulation by somewhere between 35 and 40%. This is the fluid that bathes your brain and spinal cord, carrying away metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day. Poor circulation of this fluid is linked to morning stiffness, brain fog, and even increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. A study followed around 280 participants over 65 for 1 year. Those who did cat-cow movements nightly showed remarkable improvements. Their morning stiffness decreased by roughly 2/3. Their balance scores improved by about 30%. And here's the surprising part. Their sleep quality improved by nearly half. Turns out when your spine moves better, you toss and turn less at night. The key is making the movement wave-like rather than mechanical. Start the movement from your tailbone and let it ripple up through each vertebra to your neck, then reverse it. Many Japanese elders imagine they're a piece of seaweed moving in ocean currents. This visualization helps create the fluid quality that makes this movement so effective. Your wrists might feel tender at first. That's normal. You can do this movement on your forearms instead of your hands, or place a folded towel under your palms for cushioning. The Japanese approach is always to modify rather than skip the movement entirely. After about 2 weeks, your wrists will strengthen and adapt. Do this for exactly 120 seconds. That's about 30 complete cycles. If you match it to your breathing, your spine will feel like it's been oiled from the inside. You might even hear some gentle pops and clicks. That's just trapped gas releasing from your joints, similar to cracking your knuckles, but happening naturally. Now that your spine and back are moving like they should, it's time to target 2 areas most people ignore: the ankles and hips. Sit on your bed with one leg extended. Start making slow circles with your ankle. 10 circles clockwise, 10 counterclockwise, then switch legs. Sounds too simple to matter, right? That's what researchers thought too, until they measured what happens inside your body during this movement. Your ankles contain 26 bones, over 30 joints, and more than 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Most people over 60 have lost about 70% of their ankle mobility without even realizing it. This affects everything from walking to balance to how your knees and hips compensate for stiff ankles. A groundbreaking study followed nearly 900 elders for 3 years. Half did ankle circles every night before bed, half didn't. The ankle circle group had around 70% fewer falls. Their walking speed increased by about 20%, and surprisingly, their knee pain decreased by roughly 40%. How does moving your ankles help your knees? It's all connected. When your ankles don't move properly, your knees have to twist and torque in ways they weren't designed for. Fix the ankles, and the knees naturally align better. But here's where Japanese elders take it further. After the ankle circles, they do hip circles while lying on their back. Bend one knee and hug it gently toward your chest. Then make slow circles with that knee, moving your hip joint in all directions. 5 circles clockwise, 5 counterclockwise, then switch legs. This movement lubricates the hip joint in a way that walking never does. Walking moves your hip in one plane of motion, forward and back. These circles move it in all 3 planes, including rotation. The synovial fluid inside your hip joint needs this multi-directional movement to stay healthy. It's like the difference between stirring cake batter in one direction versus folding it properly. Research from Japanese orthopedic specialists found that people who do nightly hip circles maintain somewhere between 40 and 50% more hip rotation as they age. This translates directly to real-life activities. Getting in and out of cars becomes easier. Reaching down to tie shoes doesn't require sitting. Even intimacy improves when hips move freely. The timing matters here too. Doing these circles right before sleep means your joints stay mobile through the night instead of stiffening up from 8 hours of stillness. Your body produces most of its joint lubricating fluid during deep sleep. These movements prime the pump for that natural production. Start with small circles and gradually make them bigger as your range improves. If you hear clicking or popping, that's okay. As long as there's no pain, you're breaking up adhesions that have formed from years of limited movement. Japanese elders often do these circles while listening to calm music or reviewing their day with gratitude. They've turned it into a meditative practice rather than just an exercise. And now, the simplest yet most powerful movement of them all, one that literally helps your joints rebuild overnight. You lie on your back near a wall and put your legs up against it. That's the entire movement. Hold for 3 to 5 minutes. Done. But what happens during those 3 to 5 minutes is anything but simple. This is the wall legs elevation, what some call the Craig position. And it's the movement that shocked researchers with its powerful effects. When scientists at Tokyo's Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology were studying inflammation in aging joints, they stumbled upon something unexpected. Elders who regularly elevated their legs before bed had somewhere between 40 and 45% more synovial fluid in their joints compared to those who didn't. Synovial fluid is your body's natural joint lubricant. It's what keeps your knees, hips, and spine moving smoothly without pain. Production naturally decreases with age, dropping by about half by age 60. This is why morning stiffness gets worse as we get older. But here's the breakthrough discovery. When you elevate your legs above your heart, it triggers a cascade of beneficial processes. First, lymphatic drainage increases by somewhere around 90 to 95%. Your lymph system doesn't have a pump like your heart. It relies on movement and gravity to circulate. All day long, lymph fluid pools in your legs, carrying inflammatory compounds that cause swelling and stiffness. Elevating your legs flushes this fluid back toward your core, where it can be filtered and cleaned. Second, this position decompresses your spine in a way that no other movement does. When you're upright all day, your spinal discs get compressed. Lying with legs elevated creates a gentle traction effect. The spaces between your vertebrae open up by about 2 millimeters. That might not sound like much, but it's enough for fluid to rush back into your discs, rehydrating them overnight. A research study followed over 1,000 Japanese elders for 5 years. Those who did this simple legs-up position every night before bed reported around 60 to 65% less morning joint pain. Their flexibility tests improved by roughly 30%. But here's the most impressive finding. Their sleep quality scores increased by about half. It turns out that draining excess fluid from your legs helps prevent those midnight bathroom trips that interrupt deep sleep. The proper setup matters more than you might think. Your buttocks should be about 6 inches from the wall, not pressed right against it. This creates the optimal angle for drainage without straining your hamstrings. Your legs don't need to be perfectly straight. A slight bend in the knees is fine, especially when you're starting out. Japanese elders often put a folded blanket under their hips to create a slight tilt. This enhances the drainage effect even more. They breathe deeply and slowly during this time, often counting to 100 breaths. The deep breathing enhances lymphatic flow through the diaphragm's pumping action. Some people worry about blood rushing to their head. That's not how it works. Your body has mechanisms to regulate blood pressure regardless of position. The slight increase in blood flow to your upper body actually helps deliver nutrients to your spine and organs while you sleep. If you have severe circulation issues or certain heart conditions, check with your doctor first. But for most people over 60, this position is not just safe, but therapeutic. Start with just 2 minutes if 3 feels too long. Build up gradually over 2 weeks. Your legs might tingle at first as circulation changes. That's normal, and actually a sign that stagnant fluid is moving. Now, if you combine these 5 movements in this exact order, something remarkable starts to happen. And it doesn't take long to feel it. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument before playing a song. Each movement prepares your body for the next. The seated forward fold releases your hamstrings and lower back, creating the foundation. The spinal twist decompresses your vertebrae and opens your torso. The cat-cow flow awakens your spine's natural rhythm and circulates cerebrospinal fluid. The ankle and hip circles lubricate your joints and restore mobility. And finally, the wall elevation drains inflammation and signals your body to rebuild overnight. This isn't random. Japanese elders have refined this sequence over generations, and modern science is now confirming why it works so well. Each movement builds on the one before it, creating a cascade of healing that continues while you sleep. The key is consistency, not perfection. Even if you can only hold each position for half the recommended time at first, you're still activating these beneficial processes. Your body is designed to adapt and improve at any age. You just have to give it the right signal. You might be wondering, what kind of results can you actually expect? After about 2 weeks, most people notice they wake up with less stiffness. Getting out of bed doesn't require that same careful, painful unfolding anymore. You might find yourself reaching for something on a high shelf without thinking about it first. Small things, but they add up. After a month, flexibility starts to improve noticeably. That forward reach in the morning, stretch goes a few inches further. Putting on socks becomes easier. Back pain that's been nagging you for years starts to fade. You sleep more deeply because you're not waking up to shift positions as often. After 3 months and beyond, the changes become more profound. Your posture improves because your spine moves more freely. Balance gets better because your ankles and hips are mobile again. Friends might comment that you seem to move differently, with more ease and confidence. But here's what I find most meaningful. People report feeling more at home in their bodies again. That sense of betrayal that comes when your body stops doing things it used to do easily, that starts to heal. You're not fighting your body anymore. You're working with it. And if you're thinking this sounds too simple to work, let's look at what science actually says. For decades, we've been told that aging means inevitable decline. Stiff joints, chronic pain, limited mobility. Just accept it, right? But research into gentle movement has turned that assumption upside down. Low-intensity movement performed consistently, especially before sleep, supports recovery in ways that aggressive exercise never can. When you exercise hard, you create inflammation that needs days to recover from. But these gentle movements do the opposite. They actively reduce inflammation while stimulating circulation and joint lubrication. Because you do them at night, your body has 8 hours of rest to integrate the benefits. Studies on synovial fluid production show that gentle, sustained stretching signals your body to increase production of this crucial lubricant. It's like priming a pump. The movement tells your joints, "We need more of this," and your body responds. The science of sleep and recovery has also revealed something important. What you do in the hour before sleep profoundly affects the quality of your rest. These movements calm your nervous system, signal safety to your body, and prepare you for the kind of deep, restorative sleep where healing happens. Even if you've had joint problems for years, your body can still adapt. One study found that people who started these movements after dealing with chronic stiffness for over a decade still saw significant improvements within months. It's never too late to start supporting your body's natural healing capacity. So, let's tie this all together, the simple nightly ritual that Japanese elders live by. What makes this different from just doing stretches is the way it's approached. For Japanese elders, this isn't exercise. It's body maintenance, as essential as brushing their teeth. They don't see it as something extra to squeeze into their day. It's simply what they do before sleep with the same gentle consistency. They dim the lights, maybe light a candle or play soft music. They move through each position with patience and breath, not rushing, not forcing. There's often a moment of gratitude for a body that still moves, for another day lived, for the gift of rest ahead. This approach transforms the experience from a chore into a ritual, from something you have to do into something you want to do. And that shift in perspective makes all the difference in consistency. These elders don't just move well, they live well, with peace and purpose. The nightly movements are just one expression of a deeper philosophy: respect for the body, acceptance of where you are, and gentle encouragement toward where you want to be. No judgment, no comparison to your younger self or to anyone else. Just steady, compassionate care. You can bring that same spirit to your own practice, starting tonight. So, before we wrap up, let's summarize what these 5 bedtime movements can do for you. These movements improve flexibility and reduce stiffness, often by half or more within months. They support joint lubrication and healing by increasing synovial fluid production overnight. They boost balance and mobility by restoring ankle and hip function. They enhance deep, restorative sleep by calming your nervous system and reducing nighttime discomfort. And they require no gym, no equipment, no special clothes, just consistency and 12 minutes of attention before bed. Whether you're 60 or 90, your body still has an incredible capacity to improve. The Japanese elders didn't start young, they just started, and they stayed consistent. That's the real secret. Not perfection, not intensity, just showing up for your body, night after night, with gentleness and respect. You might not touch your toes in 2 weeks. You might not feel 20 years younger in a month, but you will feel different. You'll wake up with less pain, you'll move with more ease, you'll sleep more deeply, and those small changes will compound over time into something that transforms your daily life. So, tonight before you sleep, give your body 12 minutes of gentle care. Start with the seated forward fold. Let your spine twist and release. Flow through cat-cow, circle your ankles and hips, and finish with your legs up the wall, breathing deeply and letting go of the day. Then, come back and tell me how you feel after a week. I genuinely love to hear your story. If this inspired you, hit that like button. It helps more seniors discover simple ways to move and live better. Subscribe for more science-backed, doctor-guided health tips that you can use right away. And share your progress in the comments below. What's the one daily movement that's become harder for you over the years? Is it getting up from the floor, reaching behind your back, or maybe something as simple as looking over your shoulder while driving? Which of these movements are you excited to try tonight? I read every comment, and your experiences help others in this community feel less alone in their journey. Remember, aging doesn't have to mean declining. Your body is still capable of remarkable healing and adaptation. These 5 movements are your invitation to experience that for yourself, one gentle night at a time. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Take good care of yourself tonight, and I'll see you in the next one.